Matt, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, and welcome everybody who is watching this show today. Of course, Matt. Today's topic it's a really nice question. Actually, it's a very good one because it's about intelligence and the concept of artificial. But the specific question is, what if your intelligence is artificial? What about this topic, Matt?
Yeah. No, there's so much to think about it.
Yeah,
Partly because it's interesting. It's an intersection of what I know a lot about and also what I know almost nothing about. So, for example, the idea of artificial intelligence, and I'd even argue intelligence, are things that I know very little about. But underneath of this is about learning, right? Which I feel like I know quite a bit about, or processes or how to go about learning. So it's interesting kind of getting into this territory of the known and unknown together. And I'm particularly interested in exploring it with you because I think you're one of the go-to people. You're out of all the people I know, you know as much about AI and artificial intelligence and I've always asked you questions in the past and stuff. So I'm very curious what you look at this or think about this from a background in artificial intelligence. And then for everybody out there who maybe you're all over the map, right? I think it's interesting for us to reflect no matter what we know a lot about or not know about. It's nice to reflect on our own intelligence, to look back on, what we know or what we think we know, and back to the learning component, right? What we learn and how we learn, and then how we could possibly use that to look at what we're currently doing with artificial intelligence, or what we could do. Because while we talk about programming a lot, what if we're really doing a lot of teaching? And what if robots and what if AI is really a lot about learning as much as it is programming? So I'm going to pause there, but that's you can kind of see that's my mind is all over the place where this could go, and I'm very excited again to see what your thoughts from someone with a background in artificial intelligence and human intelligence. Yeah.
yeah, Matt. That's quite intriguing, because usually we use those terms very fast and without any kind of concern, and we say, "Hey, artificial intelligence," and every single newspaper and magazine and podcast and video on the web now everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. Even if you are going to your cell phone provider, now they are talking, now we are in the most artificial intelligence network in the country.
Mhm.
Some things like that. And now if you're looking at the news on your TV, and usually the news anchor used to say, now, based on the artificial intelligence, this is the broadcast for the weather tomorrow. And it's a word that is so um, present now in our daily basis that we forgot to think what actually means this expression.
Mhm.
And you just said one thing that is very, very important. Actually, you said many things, important things, but one of those things is the intelligence. Let's stop for 1 second in intelligence. That's
Mhm.
that actually this is our question today. Intelligence is artificial. So intelligence,
Mhm.
what? And I did my due diligence before the show,
Mhm.
looking for different meanings or different explanations of intelligence. And one thing that is quite usual and very present in every single author or even single reference that I was looking is actually intelligence. It's not just an abstract element.
Uh-huh.
Actually, is a practical form of application of, and it is something like that. Is intelligence is the ability to acquire
Uh-huh.
and apply knowledge and skills. So basically, if we say intelligence is an active,
It's an action, right?
it's actually yes, that's precisely. Intelligence is an act and is an action. It
Uh-huh.
is life.
Yeah.
Intelligence is not passive. Intelligence is active because okay, again, is the ability to acquire. So basically, you have the ability
Mhm.
because you have the resources, and
Mhm.
based on those resources, you develop one ability
Mhm.
to acquire. Yeah, is the ability to get things, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, you are like an sponge, you know, you're like a both in the middle of the space, and
Yeah.
you are acquiring what knowledge and skills.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much the most common definition of intelligence. And the other part of the story,
Hmm.
artificial. But what is artificial? Artificial actually is an adjective, you know, and it's
Uh-huh.
an adjective that is the definition is made or produced by human beings. So you know,
So,
okay,
I'm sorry, can I? So that means the only way to have a non-artificial intelligence is to be taught by a robot. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Now you are getting the thing, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and that's the stuff that one of
That's
the reasons that we are doing this show is okay. Let's stop for a second and let's explore our mind, explore the other option, not just the first stop that we are looking at.
yeah.
And then made or produced by human beings
Some,
rather
yep.
than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something natural, but pretty
Yeah.
much is made or produced by human beings. That's artificial. And when you say, okay, intelligence is an
Hmm.
action
Hmm.
that allow me or allow us actually
Hmm.
to acquire knowledge and produce something and acquire knowledge and skills and do something with that, with those.
Yeah.
And the artificial part of the story is something that is made or produced by humans. So basically, and this is something that is very strong.
Yeah.
If we think actually very hard in this
Uh-huh.
question, what if your intelligence is artificial? I will argue that the concept that we have today of
Mhm.
intelligence, everything is artificial. Because the thing that we are acquiring, pretty much everything is created or made by humans.
Yeah.
And one example, we used to say the wise guy is the guy who know how to apply the knowledge, you
Hmm.
know. But the guy with a lot of knowledge, it's a guy that is has a lot of preparation, you know.
Yeah.
But every single story in our, I would say, in the last 10,000 years or something like that,
Hmm.
it's about stories.
Yeah.
It's about behaviors. It's about culture. It's about family, society, economy, politics. All of those things were created by human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Science, physics,
Yep.
math, art.
Language.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Everything is created by human beings. So basically, it's like everything is artificial, but the
Well,
concepts that we have in our mindset, if those were created by human beings, artificial. And if we are evaluating the intelligence that we have based on those skills
mhm.
and knowledge that were created by human beings, pretty much our intelligence pretty much is artificial, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something that that's my first thought today, in order just to open the discussion,
Mhm.
because usually we used to, as we say before, we used to use this term very easy and
Mhm.
without any precaution, you know.
Mhm. That that's a lot for me to think about. Wow. On one, it's yeah, no, no, it's made me think back on several past conversations we've had as well. But on one level, because we've talked about biomimicry before, right? And the ability
Okay.
to learn or innovate based on the way nature. And it makes me wonder if that's a form of of pure intelligence that whatever you can learn from nature, right? Because you mentioned something that's human made, not natural, right? So I'm not to put value on artificial versus natural, intelligence. Let's say they're equal, but in terms of differences, maybe that's why, biomimicry is so attractive, or it can be so powerful, is because it's straight from nature, that this definition, this kind of defining artificial intelligence. I think in some ways brings new life to that conversation about what we can learn from nature. The other thing it makes me think about too is that back to that definition. I'm an English professor, so we get to talk, we're entrepreneurs and executives and we're talking about grammar and I'm like getting excited. Yeah. But this, the way you broke down what the artificial component of this is an adjective, but it's done by humans. And now I'm going to lose my train of thought about this. I was so excited about but it's the human component or design to it. So it makes me think about something I think a lot of people don't think about right now in this dawn of robotics, or artificial intelligence, is our role or even responsibility as humans to what it becomes, right? I think a lot of people right now are terrified. They say, I don't know anything about like AI or robotics, and I'm terrified. It's like they think it's going to be Terminator 2, right? Uh,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
can be really,
Skynet.
yeah, but Skynet, and it's like it's going to destroy us and all. Or they can be enthusiastic, but from a very technical side. And one of the things, the conversations I don't see happening in even applications or activities is the conversation or actions around what is our responsibility for, like, what if humans are the educators, of the teachers of artificial intelligence, right? What if it's, you mentioned these things like science and language and culture and all of this, what if it's our responsibility to make sure those things are in there. And so I think that's going to be interesting to see how human we can make AI. And I think that's pretty fascinating, I think. Yeah, I had some other thoughts, but did you have something else? There's a
Yeah, that was my approach actually
Yeah,
over the last a day or two,
yeah,
thinking about our conversation today, and just let's go back to the question:
yeah,
what if your intelligence is artificial? So then I was thinking, okay, if my intelligence is artificial, how do I make my intelligence natural? You know,
mhm, mhm,
because it's not about just a game of words, no. And it's not just about the grammar behind the things, it's just going beyond that. So if my intelligence is artificial, how do I make it, or how do I make my intelligence more natural, you
exactly.
know? And using this way of thinking, if we go back to machines and math and quantum mechanics and
Yeah.
quantum physics, that now they are taking a lot of presence in our world, because they are the basis actually, and they those areas of study have been creating the tools to improve the artificial intelligence. But
Mhm.
let's move and say, okay, what if we move from artificial intelligence to natural intelligence?
Yeah.
How do we put the intelligence, basically the skills and the ability to acquire knowledge and skills in a natural way?
Mhm.
So that won't be artificial anymore. And that things might resolve, and this is and it's not a problem. I would say it's a situation
Mhm.
that many people is worried about.
Mhm.
There is the general artificial intelligence. The general artificial intelligence basically is the machines
Mhm.
acquiring the skills, not that the machine has the skill. No, it's acquiring the skills that
Mhm.
will allow the machines to acquire more knowledge and new skills. And in that way, of course, many people is worried about, okay, what are the principles? What are the
The-
belief that
Mhm.
the machines have in order to take decisions?
Yeah.
What is the ethic of the machines?
Yeah.
Because if you not just go back 100 years, just to the 19th century, and if you look for philosophers, you will find more than 10 different schools about ethics. And which one should we decide to put as the platform for the universal artificial intelligence? I think this is not the question, and this is not the way of approaching to this actually situation that we'll be living. And it's not something that in the movies. In 5 years, if you look to papers for scientific papers, in 5 years, and this is something that is real, in
Oh yeah.
just 5 years, 80% of human transportation will have in some way artificial intelligence involved. And that's very easy to say, but let's go to the hard decisions in human transportation. Okay, if you are flying, oh my God, that's quite very common for you to think. But if you're driving, if you're in your bike or you're in your car, and you have they're very simple example. And one old lady is crossing the street, and the other way is a little boy that is 5 years. Which one the car has to take the decision to hit? That's a very simple example. Let's don't get into that situation. But at some point, the intelligence that we put in the machines has to take the decision. So that decision should be artificial or natural. That's more, I think that's the way of using this question. And it's not just trying to get the answer, but okay, if my intelligence is artificial, how do I make my intelligence more natural? So basically, in a way that I acquire skills that are based on nature, on human nature, or the nature of plants, or the nature of animals, or the nature of ecosystem, or the nature of the planet. That's that other way of thinking in this question.
Yeah. And there's also a level of not to get too far out there, but just like harmony in nature, right? Where nature knows how to survive by individually, like the jaguar, right, can survive, but it also knows how to survive collectively as the ecosystem. And it is interesting, and that's exactly what we as humans seem to fail at, right? We can do one, but we struggle. So it is interesting how we can shift more using this question. Now we're going from AI and robotics, we're applying it to actual human behavior and what we can learn to make ourselves better. And I like this, your push for more natural intelligence. Heck, that sounds like an entire series of writing or videos or something else. Just like what is natural intelligence, right? How does one acquire natural intelligence? What are the benefits of it? What are the pain points? I mean, you could explore this, and that's a blue ocean, as we say, right? That's an uncharted territory that I hadn't even thought of until this conversation. So
yeah, because one thing that is quite important, Matt, is because a lot of our, I would say, viewers, they are professors, they are teachers, and we used to measure our kids and our college students, or even at the master, or even at the PhD level. I'm a professor of a graduate school, and usually we used to measure the intelligence of our students based on knowledge or actually concepts that were created by human beings. So basically, we are measuring the intelligence of people based on artificial artifacts.
Yeah.
Because it's okay. Do you know the Newton laws? Do you know the history of Macedonia? Do you know the Ten Commandments? Do you know the principle of the U.S. Constitution?
Yeah.
Those stuff were created by human beings. So basically, we are measuring the people based on artificial artifacts.
Yeah.
But what if in our classroom, actually, when we are educating, and we are not just trying to teach, but trying to educate people, we use the concept of moving forward and going beyond artificial stuff and letting the people to develop something that is more natural, because when we are thinking in nature, our planet has been here for millions of years,
Yep.
and it's still here, But every single concept that is created by humans at some point will be reevaluated, at some point will be redesigned, at some
Mhm.
point will be even forgot.
Yeah.
So that's so powerful. And when I say, and based on this conversation, this is something that actually I've never thought before. It's what if we use this concept and we take it to the next level in our classroom? I would say, let's try to create a more natural
Sure.
intelligence. And based on the natural intelligence,
Mhm.
how we acquire
Mhm.
skills and knowledge from nature.
Mhm.
And then after that, now we move to acquire concepts, skills, and
Boom.
knowledge created by humans. Because the hard stuff, actually, when we are thinking in generations,
Mhm.
if we turn in the X generation, the baby boomers, the millennials, the whatever, it doesn't matter how we want to call the generation,
Yeah.
is the hard stuff to change beliefs. And
Well,
why are we changing belief? Because our intelligence were created based on things that were created by humans. That's the way of thinking.
it's funny you mentioned that because the thought I had to write it. I was trying to write it down that I kept forgetting is when I think of this question, what if your intelligence is artificial? In a roundabout way, it should make you more flexible in your beliefs. And so I'm glad you brought that up at the here toward the end, because if you really unpack this and think about my intelligence is artificial, you should be more flexible. Doesn't mean you have to change your belief on everything, but you should be more open to listening to a new way or somebody who has a different way of thinking. So what if one of the other benefits of having a natural intelligence, mission or trying to teach toward a natural intelligence is you become more aware of the artificial intelligence, and it allows you to be more flexible in your beliefs. It allows you to be more open to other people's beliefs, because if it's all artificial, then it's more flexible, right? So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's perfect for closing the program, the show today. And of course, this topic, oh my God, it opens the space just for one single season for just this conversation. But if our intelligence is artificial, now we have responsibilities, And what are the responsibilities behind knowing this? That we have to be more open to different intelligence, that we have to be more open to different approach, different belief, different decisions, different actions. But one thing that is very common and is common to everybody is how do we respond to things created by humans.
Yeah.
And if we learn that our intelligence is artificial, but the part of my intelligence that was acquired from another person is different than the intelligence that this guy in other country, even in my own city, acquired from different belief for different human beings. So basically, now I have the responsibility, as you said, to be more open to different point of views, to different actions, but at the same time to be responsible of every single one of my actions and my way of thinking in terms of the other people. That's, of course, a powerful tool to create a better environment, a better place, and a better world. And that's my final thinking.
Yeah. I would just add a more intelligent world. But,
yeah, Matt. So it's so nice this program. Sure, I took a lot of notes today, and I'm sure this topic will open space for many topics in the same area, in the same way of thinking.
I'm very curious.
Curiosity.
That's what I
Being
was just going
curious.
to say. How does curiosity fit into natural intelligence? Trust me, I've got thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
So, Matt, so nice today.
Great.
Oh, before closing the
Oh,
show, the citizen thinking. Okay.
hey, Kim,
Hey, people from Ghana.
nice. Thanks.